Hey everyone, it's Leo from English Donghua. We're massive fans of Fullmetal Alchemist, and I'm sure many of you are too. So today we're going to dive into how alchemy in that world actually works. In the series, alchemy is a powerful practice that's part ancient science, part mystical art. At its core, it's about reshaping matter by tapping into the world's natural energy. This process is called transmutation, and it always follows three distinct steps. The first is comprehension. An alchemist must fully understand the atomic and molecular structure of what they want to change. This includes knowing how energy flows within that material. The second step is deconstruction. Here, energy is used to break that material down into a more basic, malleable form. Finally, we have reconstruction. This is the last step where the deconstructed matter is reshaped into a new form chosen by the alchemist. This can be as dramatic as pulling a giant spear from the ground or as simple as fixing a broken radio by rearranging its components back into working order. To pull this off, an alchemist needs a deep understanding of modern chemistry and ancient alchemical principles. But it's not just about book smarts. They also need the innate talent to sense and control the flow of matter and energy. This requires a significantly high level of intelligence and natural aptitude. The select few who possess both the knowledge and the skill to perform transmutation are known as alchemists. An alchemist has several methods for transmuting materials. Some focus on the four classical elements: water, earth, fire, and air. Other alchemists use the three essential principles: salt, sulfur, and mercury. But no matter their method, the absolute foundation, the number one rule of all alchemy, is the law of equivalent exchange. There are two key parts to equivalent exchange that are based on a real science. The first is the law of conservation of mass. This law states that energy and mass can neither be created nor destroyed, only changed from one form into another. The second part is the law of natural providence. This law dictates that an object made of a certain material can only be transmuted into something else that contains the same basic components. It's crucial to remember that alchemists who fail to understand these laws fall victim to a rebound. A rebound occurs when they attempt to create something bigger than their starting material, throwing off the balance. This results in a violent backlash, causing mutations, injury, or even death. A clear example of this is when Father Cornello's fake philosopher's stone broke, causing his body to physically mutate. But a complete understanding of transmutation and equivalent exchange isn't quite enough to perform alchemy. The final component needed for most alchemists is either a transmutation circle or a transmutation array. The circle can be drawn in many ways, using chalk, pencil, ink, blood, or even just traced in the dirt. If you are powerful enough, you could even turn an entire country into a giant transmutation circle. For most alchemists, a transmutation is impossible without a transmutation circle or array. Of course, there are exceptions like Edward Eldrick and his teacher. The circle has two main parts. The outer circle itself controls the flow of power, focusing the natural energy that already exists in the earth and in matter. This circle represents the flow of the world's energies and harnesses that power into a usable form. Inside of the circle are specific alchemical runes that correspond with different forms of energy. This allows the energy focused inside the circle to be used by an alchemist for their specific purpose. Depending on the type of alchemy you use, the runes inside the circle will change. The best example of this is Roy Mustang's unique flame alchemy and its specialized transmutation circle. But some alchemists are able to use a transmutation array instead of a circle. An array also circulates energy, but unlike a circle, its runes are not confined to a circular shape. Some arrays don't even have a circle at all, as long as the alchemist deeply understands the flow of energies they are manipulating. Those who cannot understand this flow, or who have an incomplete array, will be unable to perform transmutation. A perfect example of this is Scar, who has an incomplete array tattooed on his arm. This means a complete transmutation is impossible for him, and his power stops after the deconstruction phase. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the alchemy used in Fullmetal Alchemist. I'm Leo for English Donghua, so be sure to check back as we go more in depth on the different, specific types of alchemy we saw in the show.